friends, it's Bella. Welcome to Beauty on a Budget, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about perfumes. I think when you're on a budget, if you're on a tight budget, I think perfumes is one of the hardest things to find. When I was younger, back years ago, you could buy perfumes that were obviously the higher up perfumes, the high-end perfumes, but you could also get nice perfumes that would last you and smell nice and not smell cheap. There used to be Panache and Tweed, and whether it was your type of smell, you obviously look for one Le Mans. There was some, I love Coty's Le Mans. There was some beautiful ones out, but that's what was available. And suddenly the market seems to be absolutely flooded with not only dupes of higher end perfumes, but also ones that come in very pretty bottles, look absolutely beautiful on the vanity, but my goodness, they smell awful, absolutely awful. There's so many of them and it's so confusing. And if you're on a budget, it's even more confusing, because I love perfumes, you know, I love perfumes like I love makeup. But I've always found that really quite hard. I think recommendation is one good thing to go by. When someone says, have you tried so and so, you know, this is nice, I've used that, and you know they smell nice in it. But don't always go by the pretty packaging. I've fallen for that. I've fallen for that myself. I've bought some real doozies that look gorgeous on the vanity but smell like nail varnish remover. Oh. So what would I suggest when it comes to perfume? I think if you're on a budget, the older perfumes always seem to be less in price. I always go, you know, for the old ones, the very established ones, the ones that's been out for many years. A lot of the times they are cheaper because the new ones have sort of taken the prize position. So I do that a lot as well. I buy perfumes like that. And also I buy a good spritz. I'll show you a couple of spritzes I've used, and you've seen me use a couple of these. This is from the Bloom range from Superdrug. So they're just a body spritz, but they're a beautiful smell. Yes, you have to reapply them. No, they're not going to have the longevity of a perfume, but I keep one in the bathroom, and when I come up I wash my hands, I just spritz with it. And it's a pleasant smell, it's a nice smell, and it's not a cheap smell. Another nice one I get is from Avon. This is the winter one, and I love that. You know I love those berry type smells. This one I get all year round. I've always got spritzes everywhere. I love that fresh feeling and that fresh smell. So a good way to add that nice kind of aroma about you is to use the spritz, although you will have to reapply it. Some of the older perfumes, as I said, the really established perfumes that have been out for years, but maybe don't have the popularity they used to have, are very often you can get for a really good price. Now, when I was young, Revlon made Charlie, and I loved it. I always wore it. I thought it was a beautiful perfume. And since then, they've brought quite a few others out into the range. You can pick these up for less than £10. And they are so nice and they last so long, and you can smell it at the end of the day. But because they haven't got that popularity rating of some of the newer perfumes, you know, you can get it, as I said, at a decent price. So this is the original Charlie. And it smells exactly the same as it did when I was young, and I use these perfumes every day. And I love this one. I love it. I loved it back then. As I said, it was one of the ones that was established along with Coty's Le Mans and many other perfumes at the time that were easier to on the purse. This is the Charlie White. So that is a lighter perfume. This one is quite heavy. It's quite heavy. Not overly heavy. I'd say smell-wise it's on the Mascara kind of smell-wise, but those sort of tones, but it's not as heavy. It's not as heavy. But it lasts all day, so that's the original, and I'm sure so many of you have smelled that. That's the white. This is much lighter. Same longevity, but it's more like blue water, clear water. You know, that kind of smell. So that's lovely as well. It's a very light day one. And then the last one that I bought is the Charlie Gold. And that's gorgeous as well. It's very hard to do smelly vision, isn't it? But that's lovely as well. Very different to this one. But they are all really, really lasting. And I love these. I love this one. This is probably my favourite. That's probably my favourite now. It was always the ordinary Charlie for years, but this is probably my favourite now. I do absolutely love it. Another thing, as I said, about the popularity ratings can sometimes affect the price of perfumes. Now, I love Elizabeth Arden. I've loved Elizabeth Arden for years and years, and I love her perfumes and I love her makeup. But I was only talking to, a couple of you about this a little while ago. Brands like Elizabeth Arden and Clarins, they just don't seem to have the airplay that they used to get anymore. And I think it's a great shame, because I love Elizabeth Arden. I love her lipstick. I love her 8-hour cream. It's amazing. Sorry guys, someone came to my door. What were we talking about? Yeah, some of these established brands like Elizabeth Arden, and I loved it. I love Clarins. I think they do beautiful stuff, and because of the lack of popularity, not even lack of popularity, because they are popular, I would say more the airtime they get. And some of them have been out for years and years, and I love them. It's almost gone, this one. This is the Sunflowers by Elizabeth Arden. That's almost finished, you can see. Beautiful light perfume, lovely. I love her perfumes. This one is very traditional. And my mum wore it, and I've worn it for years and years, and it's the very first perfume that I ever got as a present when I was about 15. And I was absolutely thrilled with it. And I've been using it ever since. Bluegrass is such a lovely smell, and it's such an individual smell. If you pass someone, you know if they've got bluegrass on. A lot of the perfumes now sort of all mangling, and you're not quite sure which one it is. But this one, you know it. It's lovely. And my last one is probably my favourite perfume at the moment. It's by Elizabeth Arden, and it's called Splendour. And it's lovely. It's absolutely lovely. And that was under £20. I mean, you can get really nice perfumes for a lower price. You don't have to spend the sort of £80, £90 on perfumes. But if you are really tight, any particular time you're really tight, my advice for what it's worth is go for a good spritz as opposed to a cheap perfume. You can strike lucky. Maybe you'll find one, a good one, and it is really reasonable. But I would say 99 times out of 100 with perfume, you get what you pay for. You really, really do. And some of those cheaper ones, however pretty they look on our vanity, goodness knows what they'd actually do to our skin. But they just smell awful. And by the time you've put the lid on, the smell's gone anyway. So that's my little advice, as I said, for what it's worth on perfumes. because I know that one can be difficult. So thank you for watching, guys. I will see you again in my next video. Please take care of yourselves. Love always.